We live?
We're live.
Let's go. Episode 1 of Surviving Barstool. The after show will be airing every single night after each episode of Surviving Barstool on the Barstool YouTube. Presented by Mattress Firm, of course. We got the season 1 winner and big time super fan, all around villain, and I gotta give it to him, just the undisputed champ of winning all these contests these days on Barstool. It's Tommy Smokes.
Hello. Thank you for having me. It's fun. It's fun to be on this side.
I bet there's no drama for you. There's no worry for you. You can pretty much hang it up in the rafters now and just do things like this the rest of your life. You're like a president who's like, your term's over, but you can just write books and do speeches and live out.
Yeah, I still get the Secret Service to protect me. But like I could just ride off into the sunset, hand off the Book of Secrets to the next presidents that come through, and just watch from afar with my feet up.
So your initial thoughts, we'll get into everything specifically, but just your overall summary, if you will, of the premiere of season 2. What do you think?
I thought it was really entertaining. I thought there was some good gameplay. I think obviously it's like, all right, there's no Survivor super fans. How's it going to shake out? But we had 2 big time, I feel like, mastermind power plays. Eddie with the phone tap recording is something we didn't see at all in season 1. Just very smart and something that like differentiates Surviving Barstool from Survivor. Obviously, Survivor phone tap someone. That's why we're in this office. And then Stephen Che, I'd actually probably argue is even a better play to at the last second get in Tico's head and plant. It's all about planting seeds. You just plant that seed of mistrust
little
last second, so she doesn't have time to fact check anything.
That's what's crazy is that can play out exactly as it did. You just kind of drop a stick of dynamite right as you're going into the boat, or you got to trust that you deliver it well and convince her, and you gotta be sure that that's gonna work. Because if she just says like, "What? I don't know, whatever. I'll deal with that later," like stick to the plan. We saw exactly what he planted that seed, and Tico completely fucked herself.
Yeah,
just
Tico,
an all-time spite move. If Tico just voted for Eddie, we're tied going to the tiebreaker, and who knows what happens there. Instead, like I get, part of Survivor is a little bit of understanding the mathematics of it all. It doesn't take a genius, but you do have to, figure out the majority of votes and, wasting votes. 1 vote for Caroline ain't gonna do a fucking thing, Tico.
I mean, I guess Steven did tell her we're all voting for Caroline, but you can't take that at face value from someone that is on the other side of your alliance.
Right. If that's an in-house thing, sure. But, I mean, when everything was laid out, and I give it to Tico because she kind of ran that alliance. I mean, a lot of people, to give some color to it, a lot of people, like in the office, would stick around and watch. So there was some kind of like a live audience at times. And everybody was talking about the obvious gender split and how there's an obvious alliance that if they want and they stick together, they can pick all those guys off and at least make it down to the final 5. If you were, let's say that was 5 guys and 3 girls, would you have gone with that?
So if I was in the majority of
let's say you're Tico and you're a girl, just hypothetically, you're playing a chick. So, and you have that gender, you have the clients.
Yeah, I think it depends on who the people are. I mean, I think it would make for an easy first vote, right? To be like, hey, the 5 of us, we're all guys, we're all girls, whatever. Let's just stick together. But if it's 4 guys or there's a couple guys I don't trust, then I'm not just going to blindly. I would always first vote. I always just say whatever's easiest. So Surviving Barstool, White Sox Dave calls himself a cowboy, puts on a cowboy hat, gets drunk and sleepwalks in the middle of the night. He's the easiest vote. Billy Football annoying everybody at camp, telling everyone to go get sticks. He becomes the easy vote, most dangerous game show. Tico was kind of the easy vote here because she was 2 hours late. So it's like everybody was like, oh, we need what?
That was annoying. That was very annoying waiting for that.
I mean, the show starts when Tico says it starts. Let's be real. But she, like that automatically, everybody else, there's a common bond of, all right, well, let's just get Tico out. That's a reason to vote someone out. So I think Tico had to switch it and be like, or the easiest thing is for the girls to all gang up. But yeah, I think people were surprised that Tico was masterminding the girls' alliance.
I was surprised in general that Tico, like, if Tico didn't get voted out here, I think she would have made some noise. I think she would have made some waves. She gets it. She understands. I'm not saying she's a mastermind, of course, on your level, Tommy, but more than I understood. Come on, let's. I think she understood it more than I expected, and she kind of was directing traffic with the chicks. And if you were in control of, the group of 5, that's where I hear what you're saying about you got to play. Like, are they strong contestants? Are they not? But if they're weaker and you can run that shit and you can be the head of the 5-person alliance. Now, of course, immunity and shit can play it out down the line. But I'm thinking, if it's me, I'm thinking I got 5 girls and I will be the leader of them because I think this one doesn't know what they're doing and this one, So that I would have leaned into that. But Stephen Shea comes in and offers the idea of we can get you down to the final 4 instead of the final 5. Eddie and Rudy's head exploded when they learned that 4 is less than 5. So that also makes sense as well, where it's like, well, maybe you'd be the head of the girls, but in this case, you're going to get at least into the final 4.
Yeah, it was funny where the 3 guys were like, we just offered Jackie the deal of a lifetime. Like, she'd be insane to turn this down. You offered her an alliance. That's all that was.
It's the very basic beginning of the game, fellas.
Right. It is the basic premise of what you need to do in any show like this is just get an alliance. It wasn't like this unbelievable deal. But yeah, it is smart to say to Jackie, like, hey, you could be on the bottom of that girl alliance. Tico is maybe a wild card running it. You could feel more comfortable with us. We'll get you to the final 4. We'll vote for you, yada, yada, whatever else they threw in there. So it was smart by them. I think it was smart by them to go for Jackie. Like, the 3 of the guys obviously needed to swing one girl. I think Eddie originally wanted it to be Tico, which probably would have been my first choice too, but he didn't foresee that she was going to end up actually being the head of the all-girl snake. So then they're like, all right, who's the next best person we could work on? And they chose Jackie, and that ended up being the right choice.
Why would you pick Jackie?
I just think if you look at the rest of, it seemed like they seemed to have the best relationship with her. Or, I mean, there must be something we don't know there, but early on they were like, all right, we can't get Tico. We got to go Jackie. Yeah, I think Jackie maybe seems reasonable, but also manipulatable at the same time. Whereas Caroline is a wild card, right? She's new. You don't really know what to expect with her. Grace, I think they said they thought was more on the new side. And Content Kim, I guess you just don't really know what I might have actually went for Content Kim.
Yeah, I mean, Kim would have been, like you said, if you're just trying to do the easy out. Last year, people flat out said after the vote, if we send home Dave, he goes home to Chicago. We don't have to see him. We don't have to look him in the face the next day at work and be like, hey, we just fucked you out of $10,000. Content Kim is kind of the same thing. She relatively, sooner or later would be heading back home, and she's not here all the time. So that, if you're talking about easiest path of least resistance, it would have been Content Kim. I do think that Tico's kind of second because she was voted. She was late for 2 hours, and she's kind of separate from that world of girls. But it is the whole cast, and this is why it's cool. And I will be 100% transparent when you compare it to Tommy, Nick, Brianna, Za, Donnie, Kelly Keegs, Trista, and the Cowboy. Like, season 1, just kind of by serendipity, had like a bomb squad.
Oh, no. Tommy, it's not you. It's Kevin's that went down. If you want to.
So people are listening to me right now?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's your show. You won the Surviving Barstool.
Can people hear me right this second?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I thought I was frozen. Turns out that KFC was frozen. But yeah, I believe he was talking about the season 1 cast. Yeah, in season 2, I mean, there were a lot of people who was like, all right, it's a lot of behind the scenes people. It's true, but it also is like that real reality TV. You have a bunch of people that you don't know. Yeah, we're back. I thought it was me frozen.
Yeah. I let me. We'll say that in a second. I don't want to cut you off, but I did want to say, like, when you're used to a lot of the familiar names at Barstool, and you did see what the first cast had and some of the names that you're used to in content, I could understand. I saw some people being like, I don't know these guys, but like you just said, like reality, you never know anybody on reality TV except for like reunion shows. So the fact that's kind of how this works, and B, I think it makes for a very unique, like we just said, why did they go after Jackie? Because it's not like we would say like, oh, well, Rudy and Jackie do a podcast together. So like, none of these guys have any connections. So there was really no reason for any of this other than what happens between the lines of these games. So there's no preconceived anything. It's all coming in fresh, which I think is actually kind of better in a way from the first cast.
I'm looking at the live chat now. I guess it was just me in silence here. I thought I was the frozen one. So I was like, oh, shit. I started refreshing. So I was just sitting there, I guess, for like 30 seconds with a bewildered silence look.
Let's get a Tommy chant going. Let's get a Tommy chant going in the chat.
Yeah, you can always keep the Tommy chants going. But yeah, I agree. And like you said, like reality TV shows, you don't know who the cast is. And so going into it, I was like, this could be, and this is for the hardcore Survivor fans out there, it's like Survivor Gabon, season 17, where it was just like this random assortment of people who had never really. I always say Survivor Gabon was like a reality show of 16 people on an island, and there just happened to be a game of Survivor being played in the background. Like nobody was even there for that. Now this, I will say, like episode 1, there was more gameplay than I expected. So like I said, between the Steven thing, the alliances, I don't think that will be the case. And I do think it is just like the fact that we had Stephen Che and Tico sleeping in the green room together. Like you can't think of a more random assortment than that.
No, the matches, the matchings and the pairings are going to be, especially as we get down to the nitty gritty. Like, I don't know what to expect with half of these people, because you don't really know them yet, and you don't know how they're all going to play together. But I'll also tell you this, last season, again, being fully transparent, we didn't know that it was going to be like what it became, hundreds of thousands of viewers, and basically like Barstool's first reality show. It was like, we got to do something for a sponsor, and it was originally going to be something just KFC Radio did, and then it kind of snowballed. So in the beginning, you guys were like just filming it and then going back to work, filming it and hanging out. These guys, because they already knew what was up, it's 24/7 for them. They walk from one room to another, back and forth between the only rooms, and just keep on game playing and talking to each other like all the time. So that's going to be very different as well. I think they were already, I could see it, man, in that first elimination, the faces, like everybody, the way they looked coming into the challenge versus the way they looked at the elimination, they were like, oh my God.
It does mentally wear on you, just the paranoia. Last year, I think it was a mixture of, well, I mean, I knew what I was getting into, but I think not everybody else totally knew what the show they were getting into was. And also, I think that we, I would say that I just had such control of the game that nobody had time to scramble. Everybody thought they were safe, so I made sure that even the person who was going home, whether it was Cowboy, Trista, they thought that they were safe. They didn't have to go scramble. Whereas here, people didn't know, like, it was just chaos. It was absolute chaos. I think, 3-4 different names ended up getting thrown out. So that was the Monday. I think that they were just, and it was a theme throughout the week, they just were in nonstop from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. scrambling, talking, making different alliances, and it wears you down.
Which, I mean, it wears you down. Also, do you think that, like, it would have been wiser to not engage in that and just be like, it's diminishing returns at some point? I think I would have been like, I'm going to work. Like, I'm going to, obviously you can't leave the building, but like, I'm done talking, because we're just going to talk in circles, and you go from this name to that name and back to the original name. It's just like enough,
And you could put yourself on the target by overplaying, or it's like, all right, Tommy won't shut up. Like, he's coming to me with this plan. And it's like, you have to, at a certain point, just be like, I trust my alliance. I trust where these votes are going to go, and just let the pieces fall where they may.
Now, we also saw they got into the immunity necklace pretty quickly. Rudy found a clue. Jackie found a clue. Jackie had the logic of, the people who make it to the suite. It's an extra bonus for your winning. So there's a clue in there. And then Rudy, just an all-time dirtball move. I actually kind of missed it. He just saw Jackie like put something in her bag.
Yeah, I think he was maybe walking into the Mattress Firm lounge as she was putting the clue in her bag or something like that.
Now, if that's you, Tommy, what last year? I mean, you got to keep that on your body. You got to keep that in your pocket. You got to put that up your ass. You can't have that just sitting out, right?
Yeah, I mean, Jackie probably should have just taken a picture of it and ripped it up to shreds. Like that would have been the move to do. But yeah, credit to Rudy for, going through, like, that's a dirty move, but that's what you got to do in this game.
Right.
And
no, absolutely.
Also, I will say
the camera. Oh, that's great.
The two of them, so me, Jeff Lowe, and Logan, the producer, helped, collaboratively wrote these clues for the idol. And we did this one when push comes to shove, having the ring puts you one step above. We were like, this is a layup. People are going to find this clue in 30 seconds. And we're like, they'll think shove, Brandon Walker, Devlin, there's that picture. We did not expect them to put it both, basically have the light bulb moment in the middle of the night.
I don't know why. I don't know. When I saw that, I don't know what I would have thought of. I mean, I guess if I was in game mode and I really just started to look at every single word, I would have saw push and shove. It would have come to me. But I still give both of them props, or Rudy or Jackie props for going right over as well. That is now in the that's out there already. You found yours, what, episode 1? You found the first clue?
Yeah, I found the first clue. We had like a little feast when we got there. And then I found 2 more clues and the idol that the first night within a few
so you had it right away. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll see who has how far we get how far they get before that becomes a part of it. So I guess we know Tico's gone now. Who would you say, there's not much to go off of besides, one kind of just up to luck challenge with the keys, and then it's kind of a weird freaky thing that's like, I don't know, Jackie can fucking juggle eggs with her weird big hands for some reason. Yeah. So there, I don't know. She's back. She's a back-to-back winner of challenges. And she's kind of playing both worlds in the girls and guys. What was your first impression of Jackie?
She was impressive and also not impressive at the same time. Like when she won the first challenge, it's like, oh, that was But she said she didn't want to win the challenge, which it feels very easy that if you didn't want to win the challenge, then to just not win the challenge. Yeah, it's a lot easier to not win than to win. And then when she says Tico's on her period for some reason, I was perplexed.
You know what? That's the Barstool difference, folks. You ain't gonna get that. You ain't getting that on any other fucking network channel. Tico's on her cycle like it's the fucking 1920s. They cut a little bit of that conversation, but I was just like, Jackie, in what world did people need to know that, girl? But
I didn't understand a lot. She was like, I'm just letting everyone know that Tico's using this. It's like, what? But yeah, I mean, clearly she's good in challenges and she took the deal. But now you have to worry if you're Jackie. All right, I've won the first 2 challenges. Is there going to be a target on my back?
Right.
Where, the first challenge, like she said, there was really no benefit to winning that except expose her as a target. So, that's.
I mean, you still obviously got immunity with the egg in bed, but what you think that's we all agreed it's going to be. I guess at that point they didn't know, but you're thinking you would have thrown that just because you would be confident you'd be safe in that first vote.
I'm not saying I would necessarily thrown it. I'm just saying that if Jackie said she wanted to throw it,
you could have. Yeah.
I do think like you didn't say it was an immunity challenge to start off. So
no, but I'm talking about the egg one. Would you like?
Oh, the egg one. Oh no, the egg one I would have. I think you should probably, unless you feel unbelievably safe.
Yeah, you
probably try the first challenge.
I think we kind of talked through it the whole week, and I think unless the circumstances are really out there, you should always try to win immunity, because then you can give it away. There's a million things you can do with it if you feel like you're safe, but winning it is always the better move, I feel like. So, what do you feel? let's kind of go through them quickly here. Like, just give a rundown of your impressions. So Jackie, a little bit of both, halfway. Eddie was also on the chopping block by the fucking skin of his teeth. Survives, but also had the move of the day. I know Stephen Chase was kind of like this cool Hail Mary, but I mean that what Eddie does there, everything follows after that because he's able to go and say, "Yo, these girls are going to pick us all off."
Yeah, that was a great move by Eddie. Eddie, you can see like that's a move of a guy who watches reality TV to think like that. But also Eddie, all right, maybe he didn't have the best read on people because he went to Tico and then Tico blew up his game to Grace. So, maybe he's going to be a little bit too much of a blabbermouth. So I liked that move. I liked the move of the phone tap, but also it's like, Eddie, you got to be more careful with who you're saying what to.
Yeah, that's you know what that is? That's a sneaky, slick, like Hollywood movie, like a big time reality show move that you want to tell people. You want to get credit.
Right.
Like, yo, guess what I did? When you probably should have said, just tried to get people to think that way without, blowing up how you did it. Che with the other big move. Thoughts on him and his chances here?
Impressive. I mean, Stephen Che is if there's going to be anyone that tries to be the strategist game bot, I think it's probably Stephen Che, just based on his love of analytics and being a robot. So, yeah, I mean, it seems like he was the one that came up with the deal to Jackie. Again, not the most mind-blowing deal of all time to just make an alliance, but good. And then, like I said, the getting Tico to vote Caroline at the last second, knowing like, let me wait till there was a Survivor player, Tony, who used to say, I always wait to make my big moves till the sun is going down because that's when I know we're about to go to tribal and people don't have time to scramble and like figure out on their own. Yeah. And that's basically what Stephen Che did. Is as it was 5:45 and they knew tribal was coming up, he made that great move. So I would say that's definitely the best strategy move.
And what was he came to her and said, Carol, we're all voting for Caroline because she's trying to make a power play, and we all decided to we heard her out, but we're double crossing her.
Which doesn't even make that much sense.
No, yeah.
But it's just enough when, look, your Tico, whoever it is, I think could have maybe fallen for it because it's the first elimination. The first episode, you're like, oh my God, I don't want to be the first one out. Let me just, do what I was just told.
Yeah. Rude Boy is probably, I would say, the best, most athletic guy on the cast. I think people expected him to be, winning these challenges. 0 for 2 so far in 2 physical challenges. What do you think of him?
Rudy going into it, like before they filmed, I wrote down my favorites list. Rudy was number 1, just because I think he's obviously very likable, charming guy. And yeah, we do say like, oh, Rudy is the most athletic, but how much can athleticism really be a factor?
It's not like the challenge is going to be like, run 400 meters.
Yeah, bench press this.
Right.
Then, yeah, Rudy. But I think that's not why I like Rudy's chances. It's more just because he is an affable guy, and that really matters more than anything.
What was funny, though?
That than the Stephen Che game bot.
The robot. Yeah. The smug robot where, it's a touch of the tism, we think. He doesn't really know that he's bothering people. Right. Coming off wrong. Where Rudy is just a likable dude, but right out of the gates, pretty fucking, sneaky dirtball as well. Right away, he made it look like he wanted to just hang out with Grace, and you see in his confessional that he was just doing that to kind of, pump her for information or get on her good side. And then the stealing of the note. So he is likable, but he also has this other side of him. So I feel like Rudy is like Prebo candidate.
Yeah, that's a great combination because people don't know he has that side.
Exactly. Right. It's all still behind closed doors. All right. As for the rest of the chicks, you got Grace. Grace, I feel like is just off the walls all over the place. Has not really got her footing under her yet.
Yeah, she seemed very manic this episode.
Yes.
But I do think Grace is liked by people on the show. Like, I think that she's someone that's easy to get along with, but she did seem very manic that episode where she was going to the girls and she was going to the guys, where you got to play, I think, a little more level-headed and calm if you're Grace.
Caroline as well. I'm trying to remember, she was kind of the patsy where all of a sudden it was the power play from Caroline. Yeah. And I think if you go back and you can rewatch the very end of that episode, the look in her eyes of like, wait,
So
what
funny.
just happened? I did what to who? And then she's worrying probably about if she makes it. She's got the council at the end. Tico's gonna hate me. She's the newcomer to Barstool. She's not. I don't think she's as ready for the cutthroat aspect. And for her, all of a sudden, to be the focal point of the power play, as Che called it, I think she is like going into episode 2. I feel like she doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah, like you said, she already, I think, is coming in at a disadvantage because she knows everyone the least. And now she's like, wait a minute, everyone thinks I'm like this mastermind going against this plan. So she is probably very, very panicked. And she was just on the wrong side of the boat.
Right. And then Content Kim, who was just chilling with Jackie in the Mattress Firm suite, unjunking her sleep. Just kind of, at this point, I feel like, one of the numbers to count up when you're talking about voting and whatnot.
Yeah, Content Kim is tough. And I was trying to think, like, if I did this season, who would I align with? Content Kim, if you watch, like Real Survivor, the older mom character is almost always someone that goes out first or gets dragged to the end as, like, a goat that never wins, but
people love.
You beat, right? But so it's like, all right, would I think of that at Content Kim? But also, this is Surviving Barstool, not Survivor. Content Kim, she's so likable. Mother knows best. She's baking all these cookies where she could be a really dangerous player if people have that perception of her of, oh, let's drag Kim along. But in reality, everyone's like, no, we love Kim. We want to see her win. So that could make her a real threat.
I mean, Kim, with Kim, it's like you got to throw out some of the rules of the regular shows and just be like, maybe Kim goes the distance because it's fucking Barstool, and content comes into play, and people want to fucking play a joke or whatever the reason may be. So at this point, I would say, as of this moment, still like completely wide open, really. Yeah,
definitely. I think that if you're doing the Vegas odds, I don't think there's anyone that's too far ahead of the pack and nobody that's too far below the pack.
Do you think that there was anybody like just entertainment value wise for the audience out there, if they had a vote and we're talking about likable characters and people who, I'm team this or team that, do you think anybody jumped out for this first episode?
I feel like I saw a decent amount of Rudy chants, some Rudy W's when he was finding the idol clue and everything. Tico is obviously a lightning rod.
The baseball fans reference got the people going.
Yeah, and Jackie, I think, is just such a wild card. That
Jackie, being on the show with her, I can't even script a worse game for a girl who will put her foot in her mouth or will always be like, wait, what's going on? Or, whatever is going on is probably when it comes to Jackie. But she's also in the confessionals. She said something like, I just can't stop winning. It's W after W. I think that one line was, I'm sorry for winning. Like, there's definitely a target because of winning. And I think maybe a little bit of cocky at the same time.
I think my favorite part of the episode was when she asked you if you were allowed to ask those questions.
Yeah. No, Jackie, you figured something out. I'll be quiet now. Fuck you, Jackie, you asshole. That wasn't a awkward moment. I feel like that was our first little beef, was Tico versus Jackie. I guess I get what she was saying, being like, hey, don't let Tico's period fool you into anything. But also at the same time, I have really no idea. But that's, again, what Jackie does. Sometimes she says things and she wants to just put them right back in her mouth. But yeah, that was
Tico's menstrual cycle off your Surviving Barstool.
Yeah, whoever had that one. I would love to have seen if she stuck around Tico, how that would have played out. But of course, we know it all comes back around full cycle.
No pun intended.
At the end. So we'll see how that all plays out. We're gonna bring in the only other Surviving Barstool super fan that we know besides Tommy. We got my man Riley from season 1, who used to do his post-game wrap-ups. Welcome aboard, my man. Welcome to Surviving Barstool season 2, presented by Mattress Firm. Your thoughts as we wrap up here. What do you think of the new cast, the new show, and how great I looked up there as a host, Riley?
You look great. You look great up there. Let me just say, what a wild cast we have here. Right. Like you couldn't pick more random people to come together to kind of be the faces of this show. I do want to say, I do think Eddie is playing the worst. I get it. The phone move was an unreal move, maybe the best move we've seen in like a Barstool reality universe. But I think he did way too much, and it almost bit him in the ass. We saw it tonight. I do think the best players so far are Jackie and Rudy. And the difference is, and I mean this like the politest way possible, Rudy knows how to keep his mouth shut. Jackie, her talking and talking and talking, it's just sloppy gameplay. Like the first 90 seconds of the show, she's like calling out Tico. She's saying that how she's a target, how she shouldn't win the challenge. I'm a KFC radio guy. I love Jackie, but
yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, we know this. If you listen to KFC radio, if you work with me, you know Jackie. You know that this is what she does. So if I was on this show with her, I would just say, and that's why, I ask these questions that sometimes seem very silly. Like, well, who in their right mind would answer that? And I'm like, well, I know a girl, so sometimes it's like, dude, why would you ask them if they have an alliance? Because Jackie might be the type to be like, I do, it's with Kim or whatever. And so sometimes I'm just throwing it out there just because I know some of the characteristics of these people. Again, that's the Barstool difference. But yes, Jackie is prone to just wind it up and
like if she just keeps her mouth like shut a little bit, I think she can go the distance. I really do.
Yeah.
But like her basically calling out people and blurting out her strategy almost and saying how big of a target she is for winning, like it's sloppy gameplay. And Jackie, I like you. Just pull it together a little bit here.
Zip it, girl.
Yeah.
Just fucking zip it. All right. You want to just, nobody in their right mind can really give you an actual guess right now, but just for the posterity, when we look back on it, you guys want to throw out a favorite right now? Riley, you want to give us who you think?
I really like what Rudy is bringing to the table right now. I think he is, obviously, you look at the athletic side of things, I think he trumps all of them. But I like the bounces are going his way right now. Like him walking by a room when Jackie's going through her backpack. I mean, what are the odds of that?
Right.
And
sometimes it's better to be lucky, right?
Right.
Survivor gods are shining down upon you.
Going in his favor. And again, like just the way he was talking strategy in tonight's episode, I think he's a lot smarter in terms of the strategic aspect than people are going to put together. I think everyone thinks, again, he's all athletic, but I think the strategic aspect is there, and I like what he has to offer.
I was very surprised. I can't give a prediction per se. I was surprised by Jackie being as much of the focal point as she was, kind of being in between both worlds. I think is a good spot to be because you kind of, you got some friends with the guys and you can kind of push around the girls if you want to. And I think going into it, I thought Jackie might have been voted off night one material because of all the things we talked about. So her just surviving the day was a win in the KFC radio world. So she was kind of my surprise.
She has a chance to go the distance. She really does. She just has to kind of keep her mouth shut. And I mean this in the politest way possible.
Right, of course.
Be quiet.
Shut the fuck up, Jackie. Not only there, but just like all the time. How about that? All right. So here's the deal. It'll be 7 p.m. Eastern time every night this week on barstoolsports.com right at the top of the page or the Barstool Sports YouTube channel. And we will be here on the KFC Radio YouTube every single night right after. Some of these episodes are 40 minutes, 50 minutes, however long it goes. As soon as we're done, we will we'll jump over here. I will be out tomorrow, so I think Tommy is going to kind of jump on with fights or whatever. We're going to have a rotating cast of people to host it, and we can have guys like Riley or some other fans pop on. So if you want to be thrown in the ring you want to throw your hat in the ring to potentially be on the after show, tweet the hashtag Surviving Barstool and talk about, give us your funniest tweets or your best insight or whatever, and maybe we can pull you on the show based on the content of those tweets. Tommy, any final word?
Well, I'll say also like Riley stuck out last year making videos. I remember last year during Surviving Barstool, there were a few people that were writing like recap blogs, the episodes. I don't remember anyone doing that for Barstool versus America this year or Most Dangerous Game Show. So if you want to stick out, like that's another way to do it, right?
Yeah, Riley basically did 1 Minute Man's for Surviving Barstool, and it really jumped out. So I mean, last year was season 1. It was kind of this phenomenon. We had all the fans jump on. So yeah, making content or make some memes or some Photoshops or some blogs, some videos, whatever to stand out. And you guys can get involved in the after show as well. So check us out here, Surviving Barstool at episode 2. tomorrow, and then all the way through the finale on Thursday. So this is not a week-to-week thing. This is not several weeks. This is it, like 1 week, five nights, 4 days, whatever it is, with the finale on Thursday. So tune in every night for the episode and the after show, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.